Whatever he hits, he destroys.
Alright guys, we are about a week out from UFC Fight Night 127, Werdum versus Volkov. Honestly, I didn't even know this card was only on Fight Pass until just a couple hours ago. I think that's pretty unfortunate because it just means some quality fights will go under most people's radars. The casual fans probably won't even watch this at all. But I'm making this video for the people that will be watching, so without any further ado, let's get right into these main card predictions. For the first fight on the main card, we have number 15 ranked welterweight Leon Edwards versus Peter Sobotta. Leon is on a 4-fight win streak, and he just had a unanimous decision win over Bryan Barberena, and Peter just had a very impressive knockout win over Ben Saunders. I feel like the best chance that Peter has to win is getting a knockout victory, as Leon Edwards did get hurt very bad in his last fight against Bryan Barberena. Honestly, I thought he was knocked out cold. I thought the fight was over, but he survived and ended up winning a decision. So I think in order for Peter to win, he would have to get the clean knockout victory. However, I really don't see that happening. I think, like in Leon's last fight, even if he gets hurt, he's going to be able to rally and grapple his way into recovery and grapple for the rest of the fight and win a decision. So in this fight, I see Leon neutralizing Peter's striking with his grappling and getting a decision victory. Next up, we have Tom Fire Kid Duquesnoy, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it because he's French, versus Terrion Flash Ware. And I really got to say, I kind of feel bad for Terrion because he's had the top bantamweight prospects back to back to back. He fought Cody Stamann and then Sean O'Malley, and now he's fighting Tom Duquesnoy. So, unfortunately for Terrion, I see more of the same happening. I really think the UFC just brought him in so he could be a gatekeeper because that's all that they've used him for so far. I will give Terrion this, though. He has a great chin. He really does. He took some huge shots against Sean O'Malley and actually dished out a few of his own, but I don't think his durability is going to be enough to win him this fight. I see him taking another decision loss to Tom Duquesnoy. I just feel like Tom's striking is a level or two above Terrion's. He's going to be able to piece him up and stay on the outside and win a decision. So for Terrion, hopefully the UFC will keep him around because, I mean, they've kind of given him the toughest prospects in the division so far. But again, in terms of this fight, I just see Tom winning a decision. For the co-main event, we have number 4 ranked light heavyweight Jimi Poster Boy Manuwa versus number 11 ranked Jan Blachowicz. I hope I pronounce... I'm trying to pronounce these guys' names right just in case they're watching the video. Yeah, they're not watching the video, but anyway, this fight, it took a lot of pondering and thinking for me, probably days straight just thinking only about this fight. And I know that seems kind of strange because it's already happened before. We've literally seen this matchup before. So you would think that would make it easier to predict, but I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't make a choice on this, and I think I finally made my choice. But I do have to say this is probably, I don't know. I don't know about saying my least confident pick because I'm semi-confident, but it was the hardest for me to choose. So with Jimi Manuwa, you have a 100% knockout artist. He has a crazy left hook and great MMA boxing. Knocks out most of his opponents brutally. He has that one-punch knockout power. However, I would say his one weakness is, I don't know about his chin, but maybe his defense because he allowed himself to get hit with some big shots. But in terms of this matchup, the circumstances are the same. The first time they fought, Jimi was coming off of a knockout loss to Alex, and then he beat Jan by unanimous decision, and now he's coming off of a knockout loss to Volkan. I have to say, Jimi didn't knock out Jan the first time, and Jan is a really durable guy. He can take some big shots. Most recently, he fought the power puncher Jared Cannonier, and he actually won that fight, and he took some big shots, and he has great defense and movement. So I don't think Jimi will knock out Jan this time either. But on the other side of that, Jan also doesn't seem to have one-punch knockout power, so I'm not really worried about him knocking out Jimi either. I think this fight will probably be another decision. It might even be closer than the first time. I'm really, really torn on this, but I gotta say, I think Jimi Manuwa will win by unanimous decision. I'm sorry, Jan. I know I've doubted you before and been proven wrong, but with this one, I just see Jimi getting it done in front of his home crowd, so Jimi Manuwa by unanimous decision. And finally, for the main event, we have Fabricio Werdum versus Alexander Volkov. And before I get into the semantics of my prediction, I just want to say I don't really understand why Alexander Volkov gets literally no promotion from the UFC. I mean, he's a 6'7" killer that hasn't lost a UFC fight yet, and that's why I felt like I had to kind of, hype him up a little bit in the promo so that people who aren't familiar with his work could see a little bit of his highlights. I'm actually happy for him that he got the main event spot on this against a big-named opponent like Fabricio, because I felt like for so long he was a dark horse in the division that got no respect. But as you can see, he's finally starting to get the respect he deserves. And after that monologue, you can probably figure out who I'm going to pick to win. I just think out of probably the top 5 heavyweights, Fabricio is one of the best matchups for Alexander, because I think on the feet, in the striking exchanges, Alexander is extremely dangerous, especially to Fabricio. Even though Fabricio is probably one of the best MMA grapplers who currently fights, surprisingly, his last fight against Marcin Tybura seemed like it stayed on the feet for almost the entire 5 rounds, and he was letting himself get hit. Fabricio was getting connected with some big kicks and stuff like that, and I think that Alexander is much better striker than Marcin Tybura. And Fabricio usually likes to start the fight out striking, and he tries to land some knees, and he has knocked out a couple of opponents, but I think in this fight, Alexander is going to completely piece him up on the feet. And Alexander also has really good takedown defense. Look, if the fight does go to the ground, if Alexander gets taken down, yeah, we're going to have some problems. But bold prediction incoming, I'm going to go ahead and say Alexander Volkov is going to win by knockout or TKO and take his rightful place as one of the top heavyweights, and we'll see what happens from there. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Remember, if you have anything you want to comment, any opinions that differ from mine, or if you agree with me, feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.